Professor Turan,
Ah bon, non.
thanks for coming.
Tranquillo.
You've always been a big hero of mine. My only sadness is that Arsene Wenger never managed to sign you for Arsenal.
Il est supporter d'Arsenal. Arsenal. You are Arsenal.
Oui. I really appreciated your remarks tonight and in the last few days about the burden of responsibility for protesting against racism and on making a moral stand, and how far too much of it is placed on the black players and the players who are suffering the persecution. And I was interested also by the discussion earlier on about the boycott, this question of boycott. And you said that it's particularly important that where a state is shown to have racist and discriminatory policies, that's a situation where a boycott would be appropriate. And although it was very little publicized, there was a campaign earlier in the year to boycott the under-21 championships that took place in Israel this year. And the remarkable thing about it was led by Freddie Kanouté, the Seville striker. Unfortunately, he was also a Tottenham player. But almost all of the signatories were West African and black French players from across the Ligue 1. And I just wanted to ask your opinion on that campaign and on why it is that it seems that across a range of moral issues, the black players are the ones who are able to take the lead.
Sur le championnat d'Europe espoir en Israël. C'est ça. Mais moi, je pense qu'effectivement, on peut se poser la question. Moi, je pense qu'on aurait dû obliger l'UEFA à faire des matchs en Israël et en Palestine.
I think that what should have happened, I think they should have forced UEFA, the FIFA, to organize those matches in Israel and Palestine.
Je pense que c'est ça la meilleure solution. Parce que
I think that's the best solution to this problem.
Voilà. C'était la seule question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Javin. I grew up in Central Europe where we have very similar racism issues, which unfortunately are probably not as well published as issues in Italy or France. And my question for Mr. Thuram is, as a player, when you were about to retire, did you ever feel a responsibility to stand up against issues like racism? And do you think players today are doing enough to stand up against this topic?
Your last point, I didn't hear you.
Do you think that players today, were about to retire, or currently our players are doing enough against this issue?
OK. Est-ce que c'est les joueurs retraités qui jouent un rôle, qui se battent, ou bien les joueurs qui sont en train de...
Je pense que ce qui est le plus important, c'est le faire quand vous êtes dans l'actualité.
I think the most important moment of intervening is when you do it when you are playing.
Bien sûr, parce que regardez, je pense qu'en règle générale, lorsque certains joueurs font de la publicité, d'accord, pour des chaussures de foot, en règle générale, ils le font pendant leur carrière.
Because to give you an example, people who do publicity as players, shoes or...
I don't know who you're referring to.
Yeah, they do it when they're playing.
Parce que en fait, l'impact est beaucoup plus important. C'est pour ça qu'il faut sensibiliser les joueurs pour justement essayer de faire passer des messages positifs aux plus jeunes.
Yeah, because the impact is bigger, and people are listening to you. They see you as a role model. So you can, if you fight racism, then you have a bigger chance, better chance of.
Ou autre chose d'ailleurs.
Yeah, or racism or anything. Whatever you do, you have a way of reaching to the young people.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming. And I'm a law student actually here at the law school, and I've been doing research on the reform of international governance and international governance organizations like FIFA and UEFA. And one of the things that I'm dissatisfied with actually about this discussion is that is the treatment of the UEFA issue as being UEFA has a primary responsibility to soccer as a business. And I think while that might be an accurate description of the reality that is currently persisting, I think that it underestimates the capacity of the public to change that. And I think it's important at a forum like this to talk about ways that we could engage with FIFA and with UEFA and have them take proactive policies. And I'd just like to hear you talk about your thoughts on that.
Alors qu'on donne beaucoup de pouvoir à UEFA et FIFA.
Je peux le répéter en français si tu veux. Si vous voulez.
Like running for FIFA president?
Alors que le public peut avoir un pouvoir plus grand que UEFA. Donc, comment le public peut mettre la pression sur UEFA et FIFA pour changer la situation et comment on peut discuter de ça dans la salle ici? Quelles sont les mesures que le public peut prendre?
La seule mesure que le public peut faire, hein, quand même, c'est de ne pas aller au stade.
So the kind of power we have as a public is not to go to the stadiums.
Parce que je pense, mais effectivement, l'UEFA et la FIFA sont aussi là pour réglementer le jeu et faire du business. Parce que effectivement, c'est vrai.
So you are right. If FIFA is here and UFA, they're here to put down the rules and to maximize profit. You know.
Parce que le problème, c'est que on voit bien que bientôt, moi je suis pas trop le football, bientôt on va pouvoir même faire sans les gens qui vont au stade.
Because soon what is going to happen is that the stadiums may become obsolete because they can do this.
Parce qu'il y a tellement
games,
d'argent reversé par les télévisions.
Because TV stations are giving so much money, they're pumping so much money into this.
Parce que souvent, c'est les télévisions qui fixent l'horaire des matchs.
Because TV stations, for example, tell us when the game is taking, the times, you know. Yeah, they want to make sure people are home to watch the games. So,
Et je pense qu'effectivement, s'il y avait une représentativité des supporters qui demandent des choses,
so if the fans were organized and make the demands, to make certain kind of demands,
mais c'est très compliqué.
it's very complicated.
Parce que, en règle générale, lorsque on fait des choix, par exemple, pour le pays qui va recevoir la Coupe du Monde, ben on ne demande pas au public à savoir où ils veulent jouer ou encore moins aux joueurs de foot.
Yeah.
Ça se décide par rapport au business que ça va engendrer.
So, you know, when they,
C'est ça, la
for
réalité.
example, want to organize the World Cup in a place, they don't ask the fans and they don't ask the players. And this is all decided at the top in many ways.
Voilà. Donc c'est extrêmement compliqué d'avoir un pouvoir sur la FIFA ou l'UEFA. C'est simplement, effectivement, qu'on peut dire qu'il faut aller dans cette direction-là.
Yeah, so I mean, we can exert our influence by saying this should happen, but it's very complicated to have a leverage on FIFA or UEFA. Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Turam. I'm a student here at NYU, and I just wanted to thank you for this amazing opportunity to hear you speak. So my question is also related to UEFA. They've obviously done a lot to try to reduce the racism that's going on in football. However, I think there's some issues with their consistency. There's been a lot of controversy about that in the past. CSKA Moscow, like Grant said earlier, only had a section of their fan section in the stadium closed off for their punishment, and individual governing bodies such as the Football Association, they have also had inconsistent punishments, such as Luis Suarez got an 8-match ban, while John Terry, for a similar incident, only received a monetary punishment. So how do you think they should regulate this consistency in order to be taken more seriously?
Les décisions, c'est vrai, sa question c'est FIFA, UEFA aussi, et comment les réglementer, parce que d'abord les décisions qu'ils prennent sont arbitraires. Des fois, Suarez est puni d'une certaine manière, Terry est puni d'une autre manière. Des fois, les Russes, CSKA Moscou n'a eu qu'une partie du stadium fermé. Et donc, l'arbitraire et le pouvoir de FIFA, comment est-ce qu'on peut mettre ça dans la discussion.
Ben, c'est vrai que c'est extrêmement compliqué parce que je vois que même les décisions de la Fédération française aussi sont arbitraires.
I translated one of your statements with the word the arbitrary ways of doing things, so I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah. So he's saying that in France too, the Fédération française is really complicated and sometimes they take arbitrary decisions.
Parce que effectivement, ce qui est dommage, c'est que parfois l'UEFA ou la FIFA ne veulent pas se mettre à dos une fédération.
Because one of the things that happens is that FIFA or UEFA do not want to offend or make a national federation angry. You don't want to offend them. So there is the national pressure. And the bigger the country is, the more the power of the national federation is adding also.
So it's very political. Do you think that should be changed?
Donc c'est très politique.
Ah oui.
Est-ce qu'on
Un
peut
petit peu.
changer ça?
Un tout petit peu.
Yeah, he said, yeah,
Oui, c'est des vrais problèmes politiques. Mais je pense encore que la FIFA ou l'UEFA a un pouvoir tel qu'ils peuvent justement arriver à éradiquer le racisme. Mais encore une fois, il faut qu'au sein de ces institutions, qu'il y ait une vraie sensibilité. Et encore une fois, ce sont des hommes, j'allais dire, et des femmes, mais plus des hommes, qui ont aussi leur conditionnement et qui, parfois, ne vont pas aussi loin que, par exemple, je pourrais aller ou une autre personne pourra aller parce qu'on n'a pas la même sensibilité. Et on sait qu'effectivement, lorsqu'il y a un acte raciste, il faut être très, très sévère pour que ça ne recommence pas. Et donc, en fait, c'est tout le poids qu'il donne à la problématique.
Yeah, so, you're right. It's political. It's political in many ways. And you can even go further. You can also talk about the fact that FIFA or UEFA, they also are run by men. I was going to say men and women, but they're mostly men. That's his words. And they come also with a bagage of prejudice. They are preconditioned before they come, so they're not as sensitive to racism as people who are suffering or people who are against racism. So in order to change this, yes, you need to address the political aspect of it, but also this conditioning aspect of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.